Hey everyone, Jessica Shire here, and welcome to Jess and Laura's Hooray for 3K video hop. This is really super exciting for them, and this is a fun summer themed hop to celebrate Laura and Jess's 3K subscribers on YouTube, which is a huge milestone. There will be some giveaways, and I'll mention that a little bit later into the video. So to get started on my card, I'm using a piece of Nina 110 pound cardstock, and I'm going to be doing some ink blending with some makeup brushes and Distress Oxide inks. I chose the 110 pound instead of the 80 pound because it's just a little bit more rigid, and I'm going to be spraying this with water. It handles it just a bit better than the 80 pound. So I started off with some Fossilized amber and then blended that down with mustard seed. Now I'm going to take some Twisted Citron. I'm going to use like a 3-color block for this blend. So I have Twisted Citron, and I'm moving real fast. I'm kind of a fast blender, I think, anyways, and then I've sped this up a lot because it took a long time to get this to look kind of even and not so splotchy. With the Nina 110 pound cardstock, even though I'm using the makeup brushes and Distress Oxide inks, I don't think it gets a very crisp blend. For a much smoother blend, I would definitely recommend Bristol Smooth cardstock. So I added some peeled paint to my Twisted Citron just to darken it up a little bit. And I also used Tumbled Glass and Salty Ocean on that bottom part for the blue. I'm going to clean off my mat real quick, and then I'm going to go in with some Black Soot Distress Oxide ink. So you probably saw the sponsor graphic at the beginning of this video. There's a lot of sponsors. So the winners for the giveaway will be chosen at random from all the comments on all the videos in the hop. So make sure you are commenting. That just makes your chances of winning a little higher. The deadline for commenting is July 10th, and the winners will be announced on Jess's and Laura's channels on July 15th. So for more details about this video hop and giveaway, make sure you check the description box below. So I'm going to use some Black Soot Distress Oxide ink, and this is going to create like a smoky edge, and I really like that look. And it looks kind of splotchy right now, but I'm going to blend that out with the same colors that I used before. So I'm going to go in with mustard seed again just to blend out that top portion a little bit more, and then I'm going to use my distress sprayer to spritz some water drops on there, and I wanted some rather large ones. I let that dry using my Wagner heat gun, and I'm going to clean up that water because I'm going to go back in with some more ink. I put a lot of ink on this paper, and it held up pretty well. So I'm going to ink blend over those splotches, and then again I'm going to spritz it with water. So it's like double the fun there. Lots of ink blending, and then spritz it with water, dry that, more ink blending, spritz it with water, and then dry that again. Alright, so now I'm going to set that aside. It's dry, so I don't really have to worry about waiting for it to dry. And then I'm going to start doing some Copic coloring. I went ahead and I stamped out some of these images from the Simon Says Stamp One Cool Pineapple set. So I have the sun up there at the top right, and then I went ahead and I stamped 2 of the cacti. This is just some really quick Copic coloring. I'm not doing a whole lot of fancy blending, just making sure I get down some dark medium light colors. And I kind of kept to the same colors for all the images. So I used the same Y18 and the Y02 for the sun as I did on the fishes. And then I also used the same G14 marker for the scale of those fishes on the cacti, so everything is a little cohesive. Now what you don't see is me cutting these out and then inking the edges with a black memento marker. I could have masked too if I wanted to make this a 1-layer card, but I thought this would be just a little quicker. So now we're going to do a lot of embossing. I have out my travel stamp platform and several of the sentiments in that Simon Says Stamp One Cool Pineapple set. I'm going to start with the bottom, that way I don't run out of room for all those fishes, because I want the fishes to be at the bottom in the blue area. So the last sentiment of this card actually says, "Wishing you a happy birthday." So it's like a summary happy birthday card. I'm just using some Simon Says Stamp clear ink to stamp that sentiment, and then I used Brutus Monroe Alabaster embossing powder, the white embossing powder, over that. And I love how bright white this embossing powder is, and it gets even brighter after you've melted. You can kind of see that here. I do like to use a small paintbrush. This is like my utility paintbrush. I use this paintbrush for a lot of different things, but one of the main things I use it for is for embossing powder, so I can get rid of any of those stranded flakes that might be on my cardstock that I don't want there, that maybe the embossing buddy, that powder anti-static bag, didn't prevent from sticking to those places. So I use the paintbrush to sweep those away. So for the middle, I'm going to put Stuck on You, because that's where the cacti will go. And then for the top, I have You Bring the Sunshine, and that's where the sun will go. So the sun's at the top, and then you have the cacti, and then you have the fishes. So now I can start adding my stamp colored and fussy cut images to my cardstock. I'm just using some multimedia matte glue. It's my favorite liquid glue for cardstock. I also have tweezers to kind of help me out in the positioning of these images. The cacti do have some spines that kind of stick out, and since I fussy cut those images, I lost that detail. So I'm going to go in real quick with my stamp platform again and some Gina K Amalgam ink, and I'm going to map out where I'm going to put those images. And then I can just quickly take that ink and concentrate the ink around the spines of the cactus. That way when I stamp it down, it'll just mainly be those spines, and then I can layer the Copic colored cacti the Copic colored cacti over the top. That is quite the mouthful. I did the same thing with the sun, that way it had the sun rays poking out. I also used a circle stitch die from Art Impressions for that sun, and that way I didn't have to fussy cut out a circle. It's like drawing a circle. I can't cut a circle either, so not freehand anyways. I'm going to go ahead and trim that panel down. It was a 4" by 9" card front, and the card size will be that too, a 4x9. That's basically, I think, a legal business size envelope is what this card will fit into. So I just cut off a little bit on all 4 sides, making this card panel 3 3/4 by 8 3/4. That way when I layer it over a card base, it'll have that white border all the way around. So when I was making this, I did think about how there's only 1 sun, then I have 2 cacti, and then I have 3 fishes. That was a intentional idea. I thought I needed just a few more elements. I wanted to add some glitz or sparkle, so I grabbed out the Ranger Gold embossing powder, and I used the sunglasses, the 2 sizes of hearts, and also a couple starfish on the bottom part of this card panel with the gold embossing powder. And I really like that mix of gold embossing with all those colors, and then the white too. As you can see, this card panel is pretty warped from all that water and heat embossing. I'm going to use some of that really good heavy duty score tape all over the back of this, and then I can mount it to a card base. I also took the bubbles out of the stamp set and heat embossed those bubbles right above the fishes just for an extra detail. That was kind of a last minute idea. I probably should have added 1 more starfish at the bottom. That way I kept with my 1, 2, 3 sequence that I had going on, but that is okay. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, make sure you check out all the information that I have down below in the video description box about Laura's and Jess's 3K video hop. I want to thank both of them for including me in this. This was a lot of fun. I love the summery theme, and I wish you guys even more success with your channels. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Meh, meh.